2005 GMC Sierra pickup truck. We are having some problems with the engine. Let's pull the codes, and we have a P0101 MES airflow circuit out of range. We have P0300 engine misfire detected, P0332 NOx sensor on bank 2, P0455 evap small large leak, and P1381 cylinder misfire ABS PCM serial data. Now this one is coming from, I cannot talk to the ABS module. There's a miscommunication with this module, but for now we're gonna try to figure out this engine misfire. Now this truck was here I don't know, like 3 or 4 months ago. I had the same code P0300, and it actually has a P0308 cylinder number 8 misfire. I did feel as a ignition misfire, like a little fish bite, and I told the owner to change plugs and wires, which he did, and problem did not go away. And so let's go ahead and get to the data display and see a misfire data. Now we can see on the history we have pretty much all of the cylinders, mostly 4 and 6, and then 1, 3, and 5. Actually, on the number 5 here, but pretty much all of them are pretty much misfiring. 1, 3, 5, and 7. You can see this 7 doesn't have much at all, but 2, 4, 6, and 8. 2 does not have much either. So pretty much like as a computer detected, it's a random misfire. And let's go ahead and look our live data. I'm going to customize it here and deselect all, and we're going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's see what the misfire is showing us. You can already see. So right now it still feels like a little fish bite. It still feels like ignition misfire. You can see the number 5 and number 4 are misfiring. Let's shift it in the gear right now. Put a little load on the engine and see if it's... Now I can actually see, I can feel the misfire a little bit. Again, it's just like a little fish bite, not much at all, but there you go. So we are dealing with number 5 and number 4, and it's more pronounced when I shift in the gear at the idle. It's, you know, you can feel the misfire, but not as much. See, the engine is shaking a little bit, but when you put in the gear, it is worse. So let's go ahead and look at our second ignition waveform and see what's going on here. To get our secondary ignition waveforms, I'm going to use a snap-on adapters. The secondary ignition adapter, it's this guy here. I have my homemade as well, but I'm just going to use this one. So this one has 2 sides, one that increase, one that decrease the signal, and I'm going to go to increase the signal. Now generally on these Chevys, you know, this coil near plug system, I can get okay signal, but not as good as on some other cars. So I'm just going to lay it on top of my coils, and I'm going to put one on each side, bank 1 and bank 2. Therefore I can get all my cylinders, all of my waveforms on my scope. I'm going to use a picoscope. And so what you want to do is try to lay this back flush on top of the coil the best you can. Sometimes not always, you know, easy to do, but let's see. At the end of it, it's a little flimsy, so I'm just going to put this clip to kind of keep it down. There you go. That's better. This other side looks pretty good. Now I'm going to use this splitter to connect these two adapters together into one lead, and then next I'm going to use a snap-on ignition cable, this one, and so I'm going to connect now these two cables to a snap-on ignition cable, and then this being so then this is the ground, so I'm just going to connect it to a good ground. Now you want to make sure the cable stays clear from your belt. You don't want to wrap all that around. Okay, that looks okay. But now this is a BNC cable. I have to get my adapter to connect it to my picoscope. This one, doesn't really matter what side you're using, it's okay. And then we're gonna set the scope. So that's one channel. That's gonna be channel A, the blue channel, and then we will have to have some kind of sync. And for the sync, I'm gonna use another pickup coil, and this is a Pico inductive pickup probe for the picoscope, and all I'm going to do, I'm just going to lay on number 1 cylinder. I can put one closer to the spark plug wire, doesn't really matter. I don't really care what kind of signal I'm going to get from this coil, from this pickup. I just want to have a sync so that I can actually identify my misfiring cylinders. And I'm going to put this to the ground as well. This will work. Okay, so that's that, and I'm going to connect this cable to my channel B. And that should give us a signal. Now we're going to start the car, and we'll set the scope. I'm not stressing, to set my scope right away, my voltage, my time base and all that. I'm just going to do that when I start the car. As you can see, we got just a lot of noise, and so this is channel A, and I'm gonna, there's like 2 volts, see how that goes, and then channel B, again 2 volts, and so now the time, 5 milliseconds, I'm gonna go 20, and now we're gonna start the car, and then we're gonna adjust our settings on the scope. My firing order is 1, 8, 7, 2, 6, 5, 4 and 3, and we have a misfire on 5 and 4 detected by power control module. So let's see if we see anything on our scope. I did turn my high beam lights on, and also I turned my AC on just to put some more load on the engine. Okay, now I do see I see a signal on my sync, which is cylinder number 1, and you can see it's upside down. Unfortunately, I don't see much on the blue channel. I don't know why. Let's go ahead now and increase the scale, increase the voltage on that, and then what we have to do, the signal is upside down, so I have to go ahead and invert my signal. Right here. Okay, now the next step is set the trigger, so we can actually an auto, and we're gonna do a channel B. Alright, and now we can stable our waveform, and we can see from here to here it's we should have 8 firing events. Unfortunately, we don't see anything at all. let's go ahead and get this voltage. So I'm in DC volts, that's fine. I'm not sure why I'm not having any signal. I'm going to change my cable, my snap-on cable. I'm going to change it just to see if that's causing a problem. Actually, I can see something now when I disconnected my ground. Okay, so that's I'm going to change the cable, see if that's going to give us better signal or not. And this should work. Okay. Looks like my my snap-on cable is not good. All right. So now by looking at this waveform, it's not much we can decipher from. You can see also that they are upside down again. My blue trace is upside down. Now let's go ahead and invert that again on channel A. So we can, alright, so now you can see something's going on, but again it's really hard. I think I might have a my one probe on a low signal, another probe on a high signal, and I think this is bank, let me see, this should be bank 2, let me see here, so this is number 1, yeah, so the number 8 and then number 2. Okay, so I see it's kind of like I'm getting actually better signal with my probe turned to a to decrease the signal. So I'm gonna flip my probe on the bank 1 as well to get some signal like this and see how that works for me. Okay, I got my probe flipped, and now it's better. Alright, and I'm just gonna actually increase it here, and then I'm gonna take a little bit more of data, but now right away I can actually see problem. Right, this cylinder here, you can see how low it is. That's my problem. And we'll alright, so this will be enough. Let's shut the car off. Now we should be able to see if, alright, so I can see here and then here again and here again. It's a repetition on this cylinder here, and let's go ahead and zoom this in, and sure enough, this is our problem cylinder here. You can see how the power kV is very low. My burn time is much longer, and let's put a little bit of a filter here. That's the beauty of the picoscope. You can alright, so that's much better. And now again, this is, so we should 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You know, ignition waveforms, and the burn time is, let's just go ahead and zoom this one in. It should be around 2 milliseconds. Just kind of So this is our burn time. Now, unfortunately, on these trucks and these GMs, I really can't. Now, this is our power KV here. This line here is power KV. This is our burn time. Right in here, there should be our spark KV. Unfortunately, we cannot see that. It's not good signal. So, but we can still decipher, you know, our burn time. And let's go ahead and measure that and see how long is the burn time. And it's around 2.8 milliseconds. All right, and so let's go ahead and move my waveform to a cylinder that we know. There you go, like this one here. I think it's the problem. And the burn time, you can see the power KV is a lot lower, but the burn time is longer, 3.5 milliseconds. So that's ignition related problem. Now let's go ahead and figure out what cylinder this is. On a scan tool was giving us a misfire on number 4 and number 5, and let's see what we got here. So this is number 1, number 8, number 7, number 2, number 6, and number 5. Sure enough, number 5 right here, and the scan tool was correct. We are having a misfire number 5. And number 6, so that's number 4 and number 5. So number 4 is actually here, and we can, that's a little elevated here as well. So it might have some problem there, but the main problem is actually number 5, right there. Again, unfortunately, we don't get as good as you know, waveforms that we would like to have, but at least we can look at the, you know, like here you can see definitely there was a misfiring. Here is a little bit better. And yeah, look at that right there, number 5 again. And okay, well, that's enough for me to remove my plugs and see, you know, if I can find something wrong with this this cylinder. So let's do this again. Let's just actually go backwards. Well, that's okay. So number 1, let's see if I can see the. Alright, so this would be number 1, number 8, number 7, number 2, number 6, and number 5. So number 5 is having a severe misfire, and it's getting worse, of course, when you shift in the gear. And the number 4 doesn't look too bad, you know. So, alright. Okay, let's go ahead and remove the plug and see what happens. So this is number 4. I don't see much there. But definitely number 5 is a problem. I think I found my problem. So this is bank 1. It's 1, 3, 5, and 7. And this wire got chewed up by steering column. This bolt was, as it's turning, you know, it was scraping around. You see how much it chewed up the this wire. There it is. Okay, well, it is what it is, I guess. Just gonna swap the wires real quick. Let's just take the plug out as well. I want to see the plug. It's pretty loose. Feels pretty loose actually. He did not tighten down these plugs right at all. Oof. Damn. Alright, is there another problem, lady? Ain't no gap on this thing. Alright. I don't see any carbon tracking on the... Alright, so... Yeah, we can see that our power kV was very low, and the reason why is because, you know, we don't have enough gap, so it's easier for, you know, to jump the gap, because there is no any. There's just a slight gap on the plug. So alright, so what I have to do now, I have to recheck all the plugs, take them out, tighten them down, because this was and then we'll go from there. They should be okay. I'm not sure if the wire actually might be okay. I can simply just take the test light and just go around the plug and see if it's going to jump you know, jump on from the plug to the test light. But I think it's okay. I just need to. I mean, he'll have to replace it anyway. But anyhow, I have to get this done, and then we'll do it. I'm not going to film all that. Basically, all I'm going to do, you know, get all the plugs checked out, and you know, check everything, and then we'll retest everything. All right. Here's the plug number 2, the first on the passenger side. It was not tight at all. Look at that. I found couple on the bank 1, but not as loose. So this is the one that's so far the loosest one, so to speak. Alright, I'll just go through all of them and be fine. Everything's back to spec. All the plugs are torqued back down, and bank 2 is even worse than bank 1. The spark plug that I showed from cylinder number 2, all of them were actually the same. Even the number 8, which is one far back next to the firewall, it's very hard to get to. It was really loose. So I think he didn't torque it down correctly, and over time the plugs got looser and looser. So it's been like 3 or 4 months since he replaced the plugs and wires. Anyhow, I should be okay now. I want to show you guys a tool that I use to pull the plugs, to pull the spark plug wires off the plugs, and this is an awesome tool. And it is a Mac tool. The number is UNP9 880 or 660. I really can't read this, unfortunately, but I'm gonna get a kind of close-up shot for you guys to see it. Get some light. My eyes are not good anymore nowadays. Alright, hope somebody can read this. I can't. And so that's the tool that I use. It's really nice. I mean, you grab the plug, grab the wire, pull it out easily, and the nice thing is you can actually change the angle on it, 360 degrees. Perfect for these kind of engines. Okay, let's check the waveform. Alright, this should be enough. Okay, so here's my number 5, let's see, yeah, so there'll be 3, 4, and then 5. So there's number 5 here, number 5 here. That looks much better. Here again. Alright, so we can again, the problem with this one, you can see the power kVs, going up and down, but we could see on the first capture that power kV was just staying very low all the time. So this is number 5 here. It was all low all the time because the gap was low, and it just did not need that much power to jump the gap. And okay, let's go ahead and check the scan tool, make sure we don't have any more misfires, and we should be done with this one. Okay, let's start the truck. I got my AC on and fan on full speed so I can put some load on it, and put the high beams are on, and let's shift it in the gear, and the engine runs great, perfect, no more misfires, detected on 5 or 4, and I will advise him to change that plug, change the wire on number 5, but for now that's okay. And there you go. Alright, cool. It's always nice to play with the scope when you have a chance, and more we do, better we get. Now, should we need a scope for this diagnosis? I think yes. If you wouldn't have a scan tool that would give you a misfire counter, which sometimes can be misleading, it would take longer, basically go from plug to plug. The problem on this one was that you could not really do a power balance test to unplug each coil because it was just skipping, intermittently, and it was not pronounced dead misfire. It was just got that fish bite, and I knew there was an ignition problem. With the same one that we had 4 months ago, and I told him he needs a new plug, and at the time we had I think I did mention there was a number 8 misfire, 308, and so anyhow, after he replaced it, it was okay for a while, and they started to misfire again. I think actually it never got better. I asked him most likely what happened. He dropped the plug, or the plug was already bent. He didn't check it, and things happens, and no big deal. Unfortunately, he did not torque the plugs either, so that was another problem. And so anyhow, setting up the scope for this, it was literally 7-8 minutes just to put the adapters on top of your coils. Especially these are actually easy to do. You just put that your ignition adapter on top of the coils, and that's all you need to do. And get your scope hooked up, and get your sync. I always like to use another single ignition pickup probe, put it on the coil, and you're done. And no needed to back probe anything, like a control wire or whatever. You just place another pickup tube on your pickup pick a probe on your on a coil that you want to sync, and you're done. It's pretty easy. And you got to have a scope with the 2 channels, and you know, this was pretty straightforward diagnosis, and I don't know, it was fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.